everybody. My name is Arayas, and today I'm here discussing my second studio album, Vices, and I am talking about my third song on the record, entitled Vertigo. In the Dante's Inferno canon, the third layer of hell is gluttony, which might be an interesting comparison to a song like this, and I really can't wait to talk about it more. And I am here today with my friend Brett, and we are going through all the layers of hell, all the songs on Vices. What do you think about Vertigo? What did you originally kind of get from it?
Yeah, so when I first listened to it, had a chance to go through, like I said, to go through all these songs, and I really enjoyed the intimate feel to this song, and almost in the chorus, it's kind of like an angelic, voice when you hit the falsetto. It's really got the nice reverb and all of that. And one thing I wanted to ask you, in the course of the song, right? What made you want to hone in on that intimacy with this song and, have that angelic presence, in the chorus?
Yeah, I'm really happy that you read it as light and angelic and airy. For me, this whole album is lots of big beats, very intense sounds.
Right.
And if it's not a very intense sound, it's at least very heavy content.
Right.
It's like some drug overdose story or some deep-seated childhood trauma fear, So this was at least for content and for overall the ear, a break, you know? So that was kind of the first and foremost. There have been a couple of different versions and ideas of how this song was going to go. And this is definitely the most easy on the brain and the ear. But I think what I actually was kind of going for was more of a dazed presence, very trancey, and kind of going into then the meaning of the song on that. I know that it's in the circle of hell, that's gluttony, but this song is actually representative of one of my personal vices. So this whole entire album is either sort of societal moral decay and problems just with the world, my personal vices, neutralizing the term vice and realizing that it might not, people are just people and everybody falls short and nobody's perfect and maybe we shouldn't be so judgmental.
Right.
And sometimes people can even be a vice. Those are kind of the main motifs throughout this. And with this one in particular, it kind of falls into the category of what was my vice, what was something that I personally struggled with. And for me, it was an eating disorder.
Okay.
And so kind of going into this dazed, apathetic, lackadaisical trance type thing was kind of reflective of, to me, and Vertigo even of itself, was every time I stood up for years, I'd get dizzy and I feel like I had that vertigo thing, where you feel like you're going to fall over and you get nauseous and stuff like that. And it's really interesting though, because I put it in the gluttony category because even though I struggled with the opposite, it's still so self-decadent. It's such a, in my mind, issue of control and pride and not able to see yourself for who you are,
right?
And now that I have come out of it and have recovered fully, it's very interesting to me how little energy I had and how much apathy and just drained deadness I really had for the world. And I was yearning for more. I wanted to feel pain again. I wanted to feel anything, but this kind of wasn't that. And I think in hindsight, even though it didn't have to do with anything, overindulgent with, food or eating, it was still very gluttonous mentally, being so vain.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I never really thought about it like that, but I love, how you described it, just the different meanings, when you can, I'm an artist, but even as a listener, you could really listen to something and still not quite fully understand, but when you break it down like that, it's wow, that makes sense why all these things are in this song and the way that she portrayed it, with the vertigo thing and just everything like that. I love it. So,
and since we have the time, I'd love to just talk about it a little bit more because honestly, this is a huge passion of mine. It's one of the least talked about, mental illnesses and still one of the ones with the highest mortality rate. And I just feel like we give in a lot and we just let diet culture just sort of take over instead of real wellness and real health.
Right.
And it bothers me so much. Another thing that I guess keeps me up at night, that we don't allow men, but women, I think maybe a little bit more than men, even the the autonomy to just be themselves and to exist healthily as themselves.
Yeah.
And so this is something that I am very passionate about. And when I wrote this song, it like the chorus is this light voice or whatever, like, the weird thing is that it's a mental dichotomy. It's killing you. You have to let this go, but you just don't know. You're just like, you're afraid to take that step, even though
Right.
you know that you're not pursuing your dreams. You don't have this energy, but you're still just afraid, Go ahead.
Yeah, it's awesome. One thing else that I really wanted to talk to you about that stood out to me in this song, and I loved, how you just described all of that, and it really put things into a different perspective for me, just as you as a person and just other people that struggle with that. Fortunately for me, I've never had to go through a disorder like that, but when you broke it down like that, it really put things into perspective for me to kind of look at it differently. So I loved how you discussed that. But like I said, one thing in the beginning of the song that stood out to me, you had some lines in there, and I've got them here. It says, "You can't go to heaven, but won't go to hell." In the opening of the song, I assume you see yourself in the middle somewhere. What did you truly mean behind those lyrics? I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
What I meant was that I feel that a lot of times from the church, at least, I've always kind of fallen in the middle. Like, I've always asserted my beliefs and my convictions, and I have always stood by them. And when it comes to matters of doctrine, like who is God, who is the Savior, who are those things, I've never argued on that. You can believe it or you cannot, and I have chosen to, and that's okay with me. But there were all these then other matters of principle, like how women should dress, how we should look, how all these things. And I think that my eating disorder like really fed into that, honestly. Like, I felt that I always had to make myself smaller to fit a societal norm, a patriarchal norm, a religious norm. We give, at least for me and my experience in the Christian school that I went to, they put moral value around what you ate and what you didn't eat. Oh, like this is a good food, and oh, that's a bad food, and you have to honor your body, and you have to do all these things. And while like I am a big proponent of health and fitness, and I'm not telling anybody to not do those things, it was so frustrating to me that the thing, how I would look, or dyeing my hair, or piercing my face, or, supporting, gay rights and supporting women's rights and stuff like that, somehow precluded me from going to heaven. But I was like, but I won't go to hell. Like, I believe the same things that you believe. Why is that not enough?
Right.
And it really kind of sent me in this like depression that ultimately led to controlling what I did so fiercely because I was feeling so out of control in my beliefs.
Awesome. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. And I'm sure you're not the only person who, feels that way as well. I'm sure there's lots of people who have been in your same shoes, who maybe not so necessarily have a voice to express that. So it's cool to see somebody, with your background, the things that you went through, have a platform to be able to talk about these things. And, what is that like, having a platform to be able to, express these things? Like, what has that been for you to be able to have music, to have these songs like Nocturnal and Vertigo in this album? Like, what does this mean to you, more than just the lyrics?
Yeah, this is exactly why I do it. This is exactly what I wanted to do with this record, even being here today and talking about it. And then eventually being able to tell more and more people as bigger stages and bigger opportunities come along, women especially, people of the church especially. This isn't the platform that I wanted to be honest, that nobody is perfect and we have all fallen short. And to act like you are holier than thou in some way, to me is just so self-righteous and so just detrimental to actually helping people. And so having the platform now and being able to have the opportunity to have the mic, whether it be on stage, whether it be in an interview, whether it be, on TikTok or whatever, it's so nice to be able to just at least let people know that I'm in it with them. It doesn't matter if I had a platform or if I didn't. Like, I'm going to try and be as transparent and as honest about what has happened to me throughout my life without being too cliche. I think a lot of people write about things oftentimes, but sometimes they're very on the nose and it can be very triggering. And sometimes like it can come off as a little bit trite and like they don't mean it or like it's a grab. And I never want to do that. I just want to portray what I was thinking in hopefully the most delicate way possible so that people always know that I'm, first of all, their ally and their friend, you know?
Nice. Good. Well, do you think that was good for that little segment?
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I totally do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining this discussion today about Vertigo. And I hope you enjoy the rest of my second studio album, Vices.